So, each of these hexes is 1 day of travel. Instead of measuring, like, specific distances, all travel and stuff is boiled onto days, because you eat 1 unit of rations per day.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Really simple.
It's everything about this is really simple. So we're gonna do is 2 days away, 2 days of travel away. Okay, you got 1.
I mean,
2.
I said everything was simple about GURPS, but nobody fucking believes me.
Right. So each hex transferring from hex to hex is gonna be 2 days. Is gonna be 1 day, right? So then we're gonna come over here. We're gonna make a village, and we're not gonna do it in this obnoxiously difficult.
Stop changing the rules. Is this a metric system or something?
All right. So this is a village. All right. What's going to happen is that I'm going to talk to Zangmak, because Zangmak does, if anybody here has seen the world maps for, like, our other Dungeon World campaign or Everdeep, Zangmak has a real talent for using those asset packs to make amazing-looking world maps.
I like how he says just the world maps, as though it's not every map that's in this.
World maps and caves, okay? Like... That's what Zangmak's good at.
Okay.
All right, so by default, a village is they have the following tags. All right, so let's they are poor. They have a steady population. They have a militia and a resource. Because that's where villages come from. So,
I still, for the record, like the fact that this entire apocalypse was started because of a rabbit famine.
As a matter of fact, because we started with a rabbit famine, Sarah, you have informed us of what the resource here is going to be. It's a farming village.
Yes.
Yeah.
Vegetables.
Carrots.
Specifically yeah, it's got to be vegetables that rabbits would eat.
Yeah, it's
Carrots.
It's like lettuce.
Carrots.
crop
Carrots
farms.
and lettuce.
They don't really eat carrots. They eat lots and lots of lettuce, though.
I know.
Oh, they'll eat carrots.
They'll eat carrots, but not if there's lettuce sitting right there on top of the ground instead of under the ground.
I have a branding reason to speak in favor of carrots, so.
Carrots are Pukajutsu's stream currency. By the way, if you aren't following Pukajutsu, don't. No, if you aren't following Pukajutsu,
don't.
Go.
I don't sing.
Toss him a follow. Tell him I said scrub a dub and demand a song. Okay, so if the village is part of a kingdom or empire, which it is, we are actually at the outskirts of the kingdom. We need to choose one of these. The village is somewhere naturally defended. No. Well, you guys can help in as well. The village has abundant resources that sustain it. We actually know that's not the case because of the rabbit famine.
But it might have been. Like, it might have been the reason that the village was defended against the orcs, because basically the vegetables allowed them to buy mercenaries to defend themselves with.
The village is under the protection of another steading, which will give it the oath tag, and it'll make another steading that we're going to need. The village is on a major road, which will give it the trade tag and more prosperity. The village is built around a wizard's tower, which gives it personage of the wizard and a blight of arcane creatures. And the rabbits do not count as arcane creatures. I'm sorry, guys. They
would have in our last campaign.
And the village is built on a site, or the village is built on a site of religious significance, divine or history of your choice.
I don't necessarily think that they're protected by another steading, mostly because if they were protected by another steading and their entire economy was collapsing because of rabbits, I assume the other steading probably would have stepped in instead of hiring 3 schmucks to go and solve the rabocalypse.
Unless the steading that was protecting them didn't take it very seriously. This, like, they might oath to the other steading and just nobody considers them to be very important. Yeah, whatever, a rabbit problem, who cares? And that might be why we hired 3 blind schmucks. 3 blind schmucks. See how they die, possessed by the gods.
He's not dead.
Chris likes to play barbarians. He blows things up, sets them on fire, and then he dies to orcs while trapped under a troll, and now he's the BBG.
I didn't die under the troll.
Oh, what killed you?
I can't even remember. I was still alive.
You were stabbed to death by the orcs while you were trying to get out from underneath the troll.
No, it was the remaining. I killed the rest of the trolls or the rest of the orcs, because remember I picked up one of the orcs and I beat the rest of the orcs to death with him, and in the process died.
Yeah, okay, you got out from under control, and in the final battle with the remaining enemies, you died to kill them all. Okay, so it is part of a kingdom. So, did any of those things trigger any ideas in the players?
I don't necessarily. Again, I feel like this has got to be somewhere that's fairly undefended, just because of the fact that mercenaries were brought in. And
mercs were brought in. So
it's probably not under defense of a wizard.
Yeah, it probably doesn't have trade, so it's not on a major road.
Not a major road.
I also don't think they're necessarily bright people. Although no, the con wasn't on the people. The con was on the orcs.
So. Right. Yeah. So the village could that's boiling us down to okay, so not naturally defended. It doesn't have an abundant resource. It's not in the protection of another steading. It's not on a major trade road. It's not built around a wizard's tower. The only one left is it's built on a site of religious significance, divine in history of your choice.
I was actually gonna suggest maybe divine, but the divine presence requires them to be pacifists.
Divine in history, your choice. Does it?
Well, there's two different.
I'm saying that's why
a suggestion. Yeah.
Which is why they would hire mercenaries to handle their rabbits.
Right. Yeah. Because the nature god that I spoke to doesn't intervene.
Yep.
There's also, as I said, it could be that it did have a lot of resource before, they may have had a booming lettuce economy.
But because it doesn't currently, we shouldn't choose that. The tags can alter and will change over the course of the campaign.
Would you say, because this was how did you describe the orcish camp that we were in?
It was a decently sized small camp. It was a decently sized camp. It was decently sized enough that they had the time to construct a cage for their cave troll.
But what if it is naturally defended? Because I had pictured that we were in some really thick woods, and the tribes had just kind of clear cut in the middle of the forest.
Okay, so maybe it's on top of a mountain or on top of a hill.
Well, I mean, if a forest is sufficiently dense and thick enough, most creatures or people aren't going to find it unless they're... you're not going to be able to invade a village through woods that you can't march double across.
Okay. So it's that, or it's built on a site of religious significance.
I mean, the religious significance. The thing is that I'm thinking about playing a cleric, and
you're between cleric and paladin, right?
Sort of. I'm actually thinking about multi-classing for the first time in Dungeon World history.
What are the rules for multi-classing?
Basically, you can take a move from the second class.
Do you have the exact rules on that?
Yeah, one sec.
All right.
I'm
not against it at all. I just don't know the exact rules, and I'd like to play this all by the book. So let's ask the chat, because right now we're looking at either divine or well defended, right?
Yeah. Multi-classing. The multi-class moves allow you to gain moves from another class. You get to choose any move of your level or lower. For the purpose of multi-classing, any starting class moves that depend on each other count as one move. The wizards cast a spellbook, and prepare spells, for example. If a move from another class refers to your level, count your levels from the level where you first gained a move from that class. It's in the level up section.
Oh, it's on the level up move?
Can I join chat and make a vote?
Yeah, go ahead. If you guys want to vote, go ahead. Do you have a page number for that, Chris? Or are you using the online?
I'm on the SRD.
All right, link me.
It's on playing the game. I just love the game.
God, I just like the idea of these people being really torn by the... we can't actually do anything against this threat because our God forbids it. So we have to hire people to do something that we would not conscionably do ourselves.
Holy shit, Asher made an actual stream. Hi, Asher. Alright, so I'm seeing Divine winning pretty heavily here.
Yes.
That's going to make this character way more interesting. Okay.
Okay, Divine. History. Now, history. Something important once happened here. Choose one and detail and make up your own. Battle, miracle, myth, romance. I know exactly what to put here. For story reasons, I'm just being like, yep, Jim is intervening. It was the site of a battle. What was the name of the battle? The significant event that was here is that the current queen, her sister died in this battle.
Just really just let it go.
Let it go. Let it go.
Fired.
This is Kajerton, the village.
What? No.
Yes.
Kajerton?
How's it feel to get the Zangmak treatment?
Trilogy?
Kajerton! Doesn't Kajer mean wolf in some language?
No, it means honor.
Honor,
or
okay,
lover,
yeah.
depending on the affix.
So in the battle, okay, you know what? This is
They fight there.
Final battle of the Civil War. Because the current queen has been in charge for maybe 10 years or so, and she's a warrior queen, and she usurped control from a tyrant king. In the human kingdom.
I like the Battle of Rabbit's Foot.
Battle.
I don't know.
Of
I would go with.
Rabbit's Foot.
I prefer the Battle of Rabbit's Peak, but that's just maybe because I watched The Hobbit recently.
All right. So we have the Battle of Rabbit's Foot, and the village is Divine. We'll say that the rabbit. Oh, do you guys want a real twist?
Go sure.
Always.
Why not?
The rabbit totem spirit is the local god.
That's what I said. I said the god that I spoke to.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which is why they hired outsiders to come settle the rabbit problem.
Right, because so that the rabbit god wouldn't be.
So
Yeah.
there's a religious traitor somewhere in the village.
Oh, that's definitely me. That's absolutely me based on the character that I've...
character.
Yep.
That's it.
Yeah.
There you go. Done.
Because somebody on this channel has played something, and I have to show... I have to do this in a fashion...
What are you doing, Chris? Send me a message. Alright, so, Kajerton.
Don't send it. He wants to control you.
Okay, so, we now know... Okay, we also need to choose one problem. The village is in arid or uncultivatable land, which that can't be.
No.
The village is dedicated to a deity. Tags religious of that deity. Enmity, the settlement of another deity.
Ooh.
The village has recently fought a battle. The village has a monster problem with a blight of that monster and a need for adventurers. The village has absorbed another village, which will give it the lawless tag. Or the village is remote or unwelcoming.
I mean,
It's probably also remote.
I feel like the deity tag, though, is appropriate based on the whole idea of there being a religious traitor.
Okay.
Like, if they had to hire somebody from outside the village to deal with the rabbits because they are too worshipping of the rabbits, then that means that they're pretty all about this rabbit thing.
All right, so...
For the record, this means that by necessity, this village has to be very rich because they've always been very fortunate.
Lucky rabbit's foot.
Why? Wait. Oh no. You know what? I'm cool with that. I will bump them up. I'll bump them up from the default of poor. Because like settlements and steadings will actually upgrade when their population and wealth tags and stuff and the way that the rules interact. Basically, after each adventure, the GM goes through the setting, and like the whole thing just builds itself. The world comes to life and evolves based on the player character's actions. It's insanely fun. Prosperity. Okay, so moderate. Okay, so we now know that this village is part of a kingdom or empire. It has enmity to another village. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to say,
Ethis.
Felmerud.
Felmerud.
I think Ethis is volunteering for a one shot.
Because nature spirits have to be pretty common out in this area, in this region, I should say.
And we have decided that this is in a foresty area, correct?
Yeah. What if there's a settlement separated, like either on the other side of the forest or something, dedicated to a rabbit or dedicated to a fox deity?
Oh, that's nice.
A fox village.
Can I be from there?
Yes, you can, Frank. You mentioned foxes in the presence of Frank, Chris.
I knew what I was doing.
A calculated move. So what we're gonna do here is let's design this village, but I don't know where I want to put it just yet.
Probably on the map is my best guess.
Yep. So the idea here is one of the basic ideas of the Dungeon World system is if you don't have to answer a question right now, you don't have to answer it. Like right now, you write down all the ideas that you like, right? But you don't have to explore everything because as you play along, even though the campaign and the world are a little more formula than they were when we did that one shot in the first session, that level of creating
a little bit.
That sense of like creating as the game goes on is something that should never really stop. It's just that it becomes a little more focused because you have more context for everything. So this is going to be another village.
For the record, why we ended up in hell fighting Annie, because that idea became more focused.
Yes. Poor steady militia. Okay, so what is the resource for the Fox Village?
Pelts. Obviously, rabbit pelts.
Is it enmity of another religious? Settlement of another deity. Okay, so it doesn't actually have to be divine, but it does have the religion tag. Alright, so you got Kajerton and Frankville as sworn enemies.
It's more likely than you think.
Let's see, we've got, it doesn't need to have history. It just has religion, religion fox. Alright, so, we've got, the village is somewhere naturally defended. The village has abundant resources that sustain it. The village is under the protection of another setting. The village is on a major road. The village is built around a wizard's tower, or the village is built on a site of religious significance.
I would go road or wizard's tower.
Yeah, I feel like they're more likely to position themselves advantageously for trading. Mostly in order to put themselves in an advantage over the rabbit village.
Right. Okay, so we've got, where is it?
That actually explains my actions from last week.
Which actions?
Being apathetic towards the rabbit god.
Yup.
Ooh.
This also bumps this to moderate. By default. And then it gets one problem.
I feel like they're the ones that brought in the orc infestation.
Oh wait, no, the problem is already there. It's the religious tag.
Oh, okay.
Because the religious tag represents such a harsh dedication to something that they are opposed to another religion. Because you can have the divine tag and be like, the Rabbit Church Village without having the religion problem. All right.
And the orcs are over here just playing both gods.
Yep. So this
No, they are playing God.
All right, this here represents there's thick forest in all directions, and then we have a major road.
Is it a rainbow road?
It's the reading rainbow. All right, so the road.
The El Dorado?
Will go off in that direction. Now, this is a major crux for the kingdom here, and we don't know where any of that goes, but we know that I know that there is going to be a city's capital. All right, there's a city's capital. There are many villages on the outskirts of the village of the kingdom. What I know of the place is you have the kingdom is ruled over by the warrior queen who usurped over the tyrant king.
As one does.
The people of the kingdom are a little skittish, a little nervous. The tyrant king was a particularly cruel person, and even a decade into her rule, most people can't teach an old dog new tricks, basically. And so the people are always very nervous about what's going to happen next, and they're always waiting for, like, some cruel experimentation or, like, like a large sacrifice is needed for the dark gods or some shit. And so they're always on edge. The only two tribes of orcs that I have are the Bonegrinder tribe, which have infectious blood, the Fireclaw tribe, which are immune to flames, and I need one more tribe of orcs. So I'm going to take some inspiration again from chat. And let's see, you guys can help me pick which chat suggestions for the third orc tribe seem really awesome. I'm gonna say, like, the kingdom is primarily human. There's a heavy leaning towards human population, and just a couple of smatterings of elves and halflings and dwarves. The scope of the game is going to be focused primarily in the human kingdom.
I have to ask mainly because I'm the only person that has mained an immolator, and I'm the only person that can say I mained a class in Dungeon World, because of immolator. What about salamanders? Because they are a race. Like, are they present in the kingdom? Or
I'm probably gonna say that it, like, the salamander would be the oddball exotic creature. They exist in the game world. Elves, halflings, etc. totally exist, but they make up a huge minority of the population of the kingdom.
Okay.
So, like, if I throw out an NPC, they're almost, like, 9 times out of 10 they're going to be a human. You guys are totally allowed to play characters of other races. That, like, the setting's population frequency should not restrict the core characters of the story from being unique.
I just want to warn every viewer right now that if my character dies again, I'm playing an immolator. Let that be on your conscience.
Fair enough.
And then you will do nothing but fight the Fireclaw tribe.
I don't give a shit.
Nothing but fight Fireclaw.
Maybe I'll be part of the Fireclaw tribe. I'll accept them as one of my own.
Chris has become this world's Firehawk.
Oh.
I actually also really like Mike Pro's suggestion. If you guys look at
I saw that. I didn't.
They imbibe the powers of the ones they.
Oh my
eat.
god! What if it? Yeah, I was gonna say Aztecs. They eat the hearts of their enemies and gain knowledge and power. Through
yeah. Okay. So I'm thinking something like the Fleshgnaw tribe. Do you have anything more metal sounding than that, Chris? Come on, let's do some over-the-top, like, super metal. I mean, like, if I don't hear a fucking mad, crazy guitar riff...
Heart-ripping?
The Heart Ripper clan, there we go.
So you want a name of a clan that can also be written in assorted sticks and twigs?
No, I want it to be able to be written in blood, Frank! Were you paying attention?
No. I mean, like, if I'm not picturing steel beams with lightning coursing down the sides that are dripping in blood with a guitar solo in the background capped by, like, a platinum horned skull, you haven't gone metal enough. All right.
They're inhumanly fast, but almost completely blind.
Blind with no compensation for other senses.
So what we need are orcs with big metal beams with lightning coursing through them, and I can't remember the rest.
All right, so there's the Heart Ripper tribe, which is, and then inhumanly fast, so super predator, but complete blindness.
They're sharks.
Blinding
they're
speed.
They're basically sharks.
I'm not naming an orc tribe land sharks, Chris.
I was already thinking it. Damn it.
All right,
okay, Okay, if you won't call them land sharks,
Chris,
give me sharks.
Give me a metal name. Give me a metal name for super fast but also blind.
I really want to call it Third Eye Blind right now. I really do.
The Shart Ripper? No. We are not calling it the Shart Ripper.
Shart Ripper tribe.
For the record, you don't spell Shart with an E, all right? It is distinctly S-H-A-R-T. Do you know what a Shart is?
Yes. That's why I said, wait, that's something else right underneath it.
You spell it with an E when you shart your soul. Like, that's how...
That's also the Sheer Tripper tribe, is what it is also written there.
The Sheer Tripper... That's for the tribe that just didn't learn to not run with scissors and went in the opposite direction. They run with shears, and then they trip and die, and that's what they're known for.
They're extinct.
They're extinct, yes.
With the exception of a small... They put webcams up, and there's this ring where, like, the people come in and they feed them and they try and teach them how to breed, right? Like,
the endangered species of orc.
Poppet, I have to ask, is that a lowercase beat or an uppercase beat? Because I say yes to both of those.
And you know what we're gonna do? You know what we're gonna do? I'm gonna say if you earn enough beats at the end of the session, by the end of the session, you get XP. Like, it'll be kind of like the World of Darkness system, where like multiple beats translates into XP. So that's what we're gonna do.
I kind of just want to call them the white eyes, because that's all you get to see is the light of their eyes.
But yeah, but oh yeah,
Blinding Gale.
There's no guitar solo for that.
I know.
What are we naming?
The blind and super fast orcs. I'm totally playing them up as like horrific. So what?
Storm Eye is not bad.
Storm Soul. No. Eyes of the Storm.
Yeah, but that doesn't work as a clan name.
Yeah, not really. Storm Eye works better as a clan name.
The Storm Eye tribe. Storm Eye is almost there. It's almost there.
What if... Do you think they make a lot of noise because they're blind?
I was actually thinking they have basically tremor sense.
Yeah, like I know the suggestion was that they don't have a special sense to compensate for it, but like I totally want to play these guys off as like the horror movie monster tribe.
Yeah, like what if you called them the Howling Tempest?
Where did you get that name from?
I just came up with it.
It's very similar to something from 40K.
Is it?
Howling Banshees.
Oh yeah, I like Howling Tempest tribe. Like, you know they're coming because they scream.
They
that's
scream.
The last thing you hear.
And they use freaking like sonar.
I wasn't sure about echolocation versus tremor sense. I was thinking really hard about that.
I like incorporating the howl into the echolocation idea.
Mm-hmm.
That's Goku. That I was just watching the end of season 2 with my girlfriend last night, so that's exactly what I was thinking.
All right, so I like that they feel ambient charge. They run huge raids during storms. I like the running raids during storms. So instead, they're blind, but they can see sound, and that's why they howl. They don't have to howl, so they'll hit you during a storm, and that's when you never see them coming. All right, so we've got.
Maybe it's not that they're actually super fast. Maybe they're just like really like they're camouflaged.
Oh, you want to go full Predator instead?
Not like quite, but like chameleon skin, not invisible.
Goku, Stockholm Syndrome.
What madness is this?
This is Sparta.
All right, so we've done 2 steadings, okay, and we know, we also know that we need. There's a village, there's a town, there's a keep, there's a city. So I need to have a city somewhere in the kingdom. By default, the city is, let's copy paste. Again, we don't need to place this specifically. I just need to know the very basics.
What defines the idea of a city?
Well, yeah, you would probably get that in a city, like something rolling by. Just.
They actually do define a city in game terms here. A city is moderate, steady, guard, market, and guild. It also has oaths with at least 2 other steadings, usually a town and a keep. If the city has a trade with at least 1 steading and fealty from at least one steading, choose one. Permanent defenses, ruled by a single individual, dwarven or elven or both, trade, every steading nearby, which adds to the prosperity. City is ancient, built on top of its own ruins, history, and divine. The city is an ancient center of learning, arcane, and craft of your choice. You choose one problem. Outgrown its resources. Has designs on nearby territory. Ruled by a theocracy, ruled by the people. Has supernatural defenses, or lies on a place of power.
I kind of want to keep building on what we've already got. What if there's like a almost Druid's Grove area, because you've got like 2 animalistic totems already, and there's got to be something here where like they all kind of come together, because otherwise there's going to be anarchy in the kingdom, because if there's 2, there's probably more. So I was thinking of like a Druidic Grove, which is ruled by a theocracy of some kind. That kind of tries to keep the peace between the various animal totems.
Okay, repeat that. I was typing out things for the city.
I was thinking about a kind of like a Druidic Grove area where the various animalistic totems all kind of come together, and they're kind of what keeps the peace.
I like that, but not for the city. I'll make a note, because I actually do like with the animal totem themes.
Well, I mean, I specifically say the city because like there's going to be oaths coming from the different. That's why I want to know what the definition of the city was, because it's going to be like the central hub for the different villages, and there's going to be oaths from the different villages as well, and because it's from because of all of that, there's also going to have a larger population because it's pulling from all of the animals, rather than just the single animal totems that each village has.
Personally, as a world builder, I'm a fan of the separation of the church and the state as different authoritarian structures. I do like the idea of like the kind of like druidic church structure.
Well, I mean, there's the reason that theocracy, or the lack of separation between church and state is a flaw. I think it's definitely a thing that you just listed. It said something about the theocracy.
Yeah. It's not a theocracy. It is in fact ruled by a single individual. Which I've already that's just the nature of the queen having overthrown the tyrant.
Oh, okay.
Ruled over by the warrior queen.
Oh, is that what this city is? The capital?
Yes. That's why I was hesitating to make it the Druid Grove. There can be more cities. This one specifically is the one that I had designed into the story, though. Power. Queen. What's the power? What does the power tag do again?
It attaches it to a power strip.
And alright. The steading holds the sway of some type. Political, divine, or arcane. So, yeah, this is power, political, personage, warrior queen. Mm-hmm. What cool supernatural defenses would befit this place?
What do they have to defend against?
Orcs are the primary enemy.
So orcs that have fire powers, blind, what's the
chameleon skin?
There's a chameleon. Yeah, the eating gain the power and.
There were a lot of people because you said this used to be ruled over by a tyrant, right?
Yes.
What if it's actually the souls of the people that the tyrant sacrificed to dark gods?
That's juicy.
That's fucking metal as shit.
Yeah.
Juicy.
Oh my god, they have a soul wall. They built a wall.
Which means that there has to be like the head church dude who's like his whole thing is like he's the capital's necromancer. Commander.
Yeah, he'd be a
of the
necromancer. Yeah.
Could it be Mikey?
Mikey! Oh my god!
Played Mikey on the channel.
Oh my god! Okay, so for Mikey is an NPC from ages and ages ago. The idea behind Mikey was
remember Mikey.
The idea behind Mikey was everybody always pitches their necromancer characters like dark, emo, evil, serious face. Mikey loves necromancy. He is so happy to be Mikey, to be a necromancer. He's the one who's like, check this out, guys. Check this out. Ready? Poof! Buff undead. Oh, it's me. It's me. It's me. He was so happy, and he was also super nonchalant about shit like hacking bones and shit off of corpses. The quote from Mikey, time and time again, it always happened. He turned about like, "You're not squeamish around blood, are you?" As he like pulls a hacksaw out of his bag or something.
We were also told to hold limbs on multiple occasions.
Yeah, here, hold this, and he like hands you a jar full of eyeballs or whatever. Okay, so we're gonna have the Druid Grove eventually, and we're gonna place the city eventually, but those things don't need to be placed. We now understand enough of the setting, right? Okay, so we've placed settings. Now the idea here is with the distance between each setting being 1 hex per day, right? Between each setting, we're also supposed to come up with some significant landmarks, right? Mm-hmm. Let's see. Those are updates. Blah 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 blah. Fronts of the campaign. There's gonna be like the Orcish tribes off to the pick a direction, right? We'll call it the Never East, or the Orcish tribes to the west, is what we'll say. So the western edge of the map. That probably means that this village is somewhere on the western edge of the map because you guys were at an outskirts of the Orcish territories. Mm-hmm. Okay, so. Updating the campaign map, village towns are booming and its prosperity is above moderate. It grows. You can collapse and go the other way. When a steading that has a need that is not fulfilled, that steading is in want. It either gets binds prosperity, loses tags, blah blah. Trade, capture, profit, surplus, aid. When two settings that have enmity, when one of them lacks defenses, the other one will move in and attack, and they become part of a battle. They can clash. Updates. Where is this?
Batman. Sorry, you were just na-na-naing.
I heard it.
Add new settings to other locations as they're discovered or heard about. Villages are often near a useful resource. Towns, blah 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 blah. Whenever you add a new setting, use the rules to set as tags. Consider distinctive features somewhere nearby. Okay, so what is distinctive about this forest that this village is inside of? Does it lack any predatorial creatures because of the rabbit god?
No, because the fox god inhabits nearby as well.
Yeah, but that's not in this immediate forest. I mean, like in the forest that is shared by the Bonegrinder village and Kajerville or Kajerton.
It's full of briars. Rabbits love briar patches.
What's special about these briar patches?
They're sentient.
Sentient briar patches. Wow, I like it.
Okay, what they're sentient in what way?
You have to avoid them or they'll grab you.
They're carnivorous.
They're friendly to the rabbits, but they they're like an implement of the rabbit god to
and
shield.
That would explain why the orcs hadn't got this far.
Yep.
The question is, why did the orcs get this far this time?
No reason. Okay, so that's that. Okay, Okay, I think we have done enough world building to take off this next adventure.
He says until we've built my character.
And then we build even more world.
Let's move to building Kajer's character after our top of the hour, which can take 4 minutes early. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Works
All
for
right,
me.
so we will be right back after these messages. Top of the hour, 3 to 5 minutes. Do not touch that dial. I don't have any cam covers, but I can stick around.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to the silence that you are failing to interpret, Chris, that you sent me is that I didn't read it yet.
That's what I figured.
Okay, so am I to understand that you wish to play a cleric?
I want to play a level 1 cleric, level 1 fighter.
Do you have enough experience to level up?
Yes.
Okay, so do you want to start as a cleric or a fighter?
Cleric.
Okay, so let's build a level 1 cleric. All right. Down the list, because we are now going on a campaign, if anybody wants to change any of the description pieces or names of their characters, they can now do so. We ran our one-shot straight out of the book.
Descriptive pieces and names, that's all?
Yeah, the stuff where I was like, you have to choose that from a list. If you would like to abandon it, you may now do so.
Oh, no, I'm good.
I think I'm good.
Okay, so Chris.
Hold on, I need the... Oh, wait, we've got a campaign file character sheets now, right?
Yes! This is the real campaign.
They're not in the journal.
Oh, they haven't been made yet, but they're there. Let me add...
Because I filled mine out on one of the Excel spreadsheet ones.
That's what I was doing too, yeah.
I'm trying to find...
I'll happily move it here, though.
Yeah, I don't remember, because I have the ones that I made. I don't remember where the core ones are for...
Before you do that, Sarah,
Well, if I get them on the... Oh, it's already done. I'll just have to move it all over. But the character sheets that you get on the website, it's like they have to be paid for, it looks like. You can't edit them for whatever... Well, I can't find... It's a share-only copy that comes up for whatever reason.
Yeah, but you can just make a copy.
All right. So, I request that you guys use the campaign file ones because it's easier for me to look stuff up and organize stuff as the GM.
I'll convert it over. I just like having one on a separate window.
Yeah, I don't give a shit. You can, by the way, Chris, pop out the character sheet into a separate window.
I know, but I lose that window all the fucking time.
It's a window. It's no different than any other window.
Yeah, just
Okay, so Chris, what is your character's what is your character's race? Are you a human or a dwarf?
I sadly cannot play a cabbie dwarf.
A dwarf.
So
you want to be a human?
I'm just double checking. Words of the Unspeaking is basically commune with rock, right?
Dwarf. You are also granted a special word of word speaking. Words of the Unspeaking is a cleric spell.
Oh, is it?
Yes, Words of the Unspeaking is... It's a level 5 spell, and it is when you touch to speak. With a touch, you speak to the spirit of things. The non-living object you touch answers 3 questions you pose as best it can. Yes, it's the ability to question rocks.
With this character, I actually think I'll go with human because I don't think that
Okay, you don't want that special.
That feature is gonna work.
Do any of the names in the list appeal to you? Wesley, Brinton, John, Sarah, Hawthorne, Elise, Clark, Lenore.
Sarah.
Fuck that, Delilah or Carmine. I'm not letting you play a human cleric named Sarah. That is not on the list.
That is actually Peter, by the way, written in
Peter. Okay.
It's the Russian version.
Computer says no. That's the point. Is that you are not playing Sarah. That's all I care about right now. You can also name yourself if you would like. However, your names will always be way more special snowflake than any of those. Because you're you, and they are perpetually more special snowflake than anything else I've encountered. Everything is spelled with a Y.
I don't have a sheet that I see.
I will... Is Carmine a male or female name? That's a really gender-neutral name.
It's a male name.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
It's worth noting, my main character is a guy named Aubrey, so...
Yeah, it's...
The thing is that I don't even associate that name as a female name anymore.
Because I've been playing Aubrey for so long, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Carmine is kind of a male name that also means, like, deeper red colors, like crimson and stuff like that.
Does it really?
Yes.
Then I'll go Carmine.
Yeah, it was also the first name of Falcone from from the whole Batman thing.
But yeah, like, you have to understand, Sarah, I've been playing Aubrey for my entire 17-year D&D stretch, and I've played him in so many game worlds. In every campaign, he's one of the only PCs I've ever actually played at the table. And so everybody who's known me for that entire time is just Aubrey as a dude. Like, and I got that from a shitty young adult novel about a vampire dude named Aubrey.
I like that.
The novel was called Demon in My View. It was written by a 15-year-old, and it showed. Jen is like laughing over there. Have you read it?
No.
Oh.
I'm just getting a picture of like a rear view mirror with like a demon in it.
I now want to actually partake in this book.
It was great when I was, like, super rebellious 15-year-old Grant, super gothed up face powder onk the size of my fist around my neck and 17 bangles. But I think that's the only time in my life I would have considered it great. So, all right. So, what did you say your name was? Carmine?
Carmine.
All right, Carmine. Do you have kind eyes, sharp eyes, or sad eyes?
Sharp eyes.
All right. Do you have a tonsure, strange hair, or are you bald?
What is a tonsure?
It's, if I'm not mistaken, it's like the monk ring with the bald spot on top. Am I crazy?
I don't know. Google.
It's a Google search, Chris. That's what it is.
Wow, you nailed it. That's exactly what it is.
I know that because I had to look it up last time, so it
I'm actually gonna go with a strange hair. It's shaved into 3 stripes with gaps in between them.
Okay. So you got a Trihawk, basically.
Yeah.
All right.
Short though. So it's a.
Yeah.
This is the short version of
tire tracks.
Because I was like, it's not a faux hawk. That's not what that is.
Okay. Flowing robes, a habit, or common garb.
Ooh.
Habits are a nun thing.
I know, but I think I'm actually gonna go with a habit for this character.
All right. What does the guy's habit look like?
It's very similar, except it doesn't have the cowl.
It doesn't have the towel?
The cowl.
Oh, I was like, what the fuck? All right. And do you have a thin body, a knobby body, or a flabby body?
Knobby.
All right. Your maximum HP is 8 plus your constitution score. Again, the array is 15, 14, 13, 10, 12, 12, 10, 8.
Oh, that's interesting.
What?
By core, the stats are actually... The stat arrays are different based on class.
Yep. Fuck that. You're a human. Your faith is diverse. You choose one wizard spell. You can cast and be granted that spell as if it was a cleric spell.
What did you say the stat array is supposed to be?
The one that we are using is 15, 14, 13, 12, 10, 8. So you start at 15, you count all the way down, and then after 12, you skip by 2 instead of 1.
12 to 8. Got it. Okay.
Your human is going to give you a wizard spell. Okay, you start with these moves. Deity. You serve and worship some deity or power which grants you spells. Give your god a name, and choose your deity's domain. Your domain choices are Healing and Restoration, Bloody Conquest, Civilization, Knowledge and Hidden Things, The Downtrodden and Forgotten, What Lies Beneath.
I'm torn between 3 of these.
Okay, which 3 are they?
Civilization, Knowledge and Hidden Things, or What Lies Beneath. I'm leaning more towards the latter 2.
I'd go with Knowledge and Hidden Things, because every cleric I have ever DM'd for has been What Lies Beneath. Almost every time they're like, yes, I want Cthulhu! Like...
That's not... I want, like, the meaning of life is basically what I'm aiming for here. Like, life itself. The mysteries of life. I don't want... Like, I was trying to find...
I'd call that Healing and Restoration.
The problem that I'm having with this is these are so broad that you can put any concept into one of them. I'll actually go with Knowledge and Hidden Things.
Knowledge and Hidden Things, okay. Choose one precept of your religion. Your religion preaches the sanctity of suffering. Your religion is cultish and insular. Your religion has important sacrificial rites, or your religion believes in trial by combat. If none of those fit you at all, you can pitch another one to me.
Suffering.
You have the sanctity of suffering. Okay. You add petition suffering. You're gonna like that one. Chris is the guy who's like, oh, I can boost myself by sacrificing hit points.
No, there's actually a character concept behind this. This isn't me just gaming the system.
Okay, so your moves are as follows. Divine Guidance. When you petition your deity according to the precept of your religion, you are granted some useful knowledge or boon related to your deity's domain. The GM will tell you what. That means I can buff you or give you information at will as long as you dedicate suffering or willingly suffer for the sole purpose of dedicating that suffering.
Mm-hmm.
That technically means you can inflict suffering as well. You don't have to inflict it on yourself. So if Sarah ever gives you too much sass, you can say that you have the religious right.
I would never give anyone any sass ever.
Get the fuck out. Turn undead. When you hold your holy symbol aloft and call on your deity for protection, you roll plus wisdom. So long as you continue to pray and brandish your holy symbol, no undead may come within reach of you. Note, it does not say no undead may attack you or affect you. It just says they can't come within reach of you. That means if I've got skeletons with archer bows, they're still gonna shoot you.
With archer bows as opposed to non-archer bows?
Yes, as opposed to non-archer bows, otherwise called guns. Alright?
So wait, are you launching the guns at me with the bow? Is that what...
Yes, it's a gun that shoots bows. On a 10+, you momentarily daze intelligent undead and cause mindless undead to flee. Aggression breaks the effect, and they are able to act as normal. Intelligent undead may still find ways to harry you from afar. They're clever like that. The rules actually say they're clever like that. That's the rule, is that intelligent undead are clever like that. Screw you. So whenever you're like, you shouldn't do that, and we be like, fuck you, they're clever like that. Those are the rules. Okay,
the camera is still lagging on Zoom, by the way.
It doesn't seem to be lagging for the stream, so...
Okay.
Commune, when you spend uninterrupted time, which designates an hour or so, in quiet communion with your deity, you lose any spells already granted to you. You are granted new spells of your choice whose total levels do not exceed your own level +1, none of which is a higher level than your own level. And you prepare all of your rotes, which never count against your limit. Casting a spell, you roll. You can then choose unwelcome attention or put yourself in a spot, but you don't get to decide how that happens. You just get to decide which of those two things will occur. You can cast. Your casting can distance you from your deity. Take -1 ongoing to cast a spell until the next time you commune. After you cast it, your spell is revoked by your deity. You cannot cast the spell again until you commune to have it granted to you. Note that maintaining spells with ongoing effects will sometimes cause a penalty to your roll to cast a spell. Are you good, lawful, or evil? Good will be endangering yourself to heal another. Lawful will be endangering yourself following the precepts of the Church of God. Or evil will be harm another to prove the superiority of your church or God. You going evil?
Yeah.
Okay. Gear. You start with dungeon rations and there's some symbol of the divine. Please describe your symbol of the divine.
I want to know the amount of, like...
If you say it's the Firefox symbol, I will hug you. I will then punch you in the nads, but I will hug you.
No, I've been resisting the urge to use the corn symbol. I have very strongly been resisting that urge.
Which symbol is the corn symbol?
It's like almost like a diagonal tic-tac-toe board is the quickest way I can summarize it very quickly. It's actually going to be
it's a tilted hashtag, is what you're saying.
Yeah. It's...
But like the sheer like judging hatred in that voice when you were like, yeah. Like that was amazing.
It's actually going to be just an eye with a droplet of blood behind it.
Okay. You can have a chainmail, a shield. Which would you prefer?
Chainmail.
All right. That chainmail, do note the weight and so on, because as you guys pick up loot and shit, this is actually going to matter. All right. Choose your armament. Do you want a warhammer, a mace, a staff?
Warhammer.
Hell yeah. And do you want an adventuring gear and dungeon rations or a healing potion?
I'll go with... I've already got rations. But fuck healing potions. I'll go with more rations.
Okay. What we're going to do is, because you are creating a new character, you died, I will give you the chance to design your bonds to the other players before they design theirs to yours. All right?
Okay.
The only requirement I am putting on you is that you need to be in the village that we are going to. You need to be in Kajerton. That's why I named it Kajerton, so I remember to say that.
So you know that we're going to use our own macros for the sheet because they're not adding up correctly with the bonuses and stuff.
Okay.
Just pointing it out.
You need to pick 2 bonds, 1 for each player.
I mean this... Oh, I get to pick 2... Oh.
No, you get to pick 1 for each player.
Oh, okay. Frank, I mean this with no insult based on everything that you've just heard about my character. Your character... What's your character's name again?
Jonah.
Jonah is a good and faithful person. I trust him implicitly. And I am working... What is Sarah's name?
Bryn, what's yours?
Carmine.
That's right.
So it is Jonah and Bryn. Okay. I am working on converting Bryn to my faith.
All right.
Okay.
Jonah, your bond to the new character, you can pick one off of the core sheet if you would like. That's what I prefer.
Carmine is a friend of nature, so I'll be their friend as well.
Oh god, they're actually getting along this time.
It's okay.
Bryn?
I stole something from Carmine.
Do we know what it is?
Oh.
If nothing jumps to mind immediately, don't rush to fill in the gap. It'll be relevant to something that happens down the line, and we'll decide then.
Yeah.
Which is, it's so weird for me to do that, to play that way, because as the DM, I'm used to filling in all the blanks as I go, so that I don't have to fill them in the heat of the moment. But the way Dungeon World is supposed to be played is that you don't fill in a blank until you need to. Okay. So, Kajer, we're going to level you up. You get 1 ability score point to spend. Oh, wait, no, before we do that, we need to pick your spells, don't we?
Oh, I forgot about that.
So you get all of your rotes. Your rotes are Light, Sanctify, and Guidance.
Okay.
And you get to pick 2 level 1 spells, because you can't have higher than level 1 cleric. Your spells can't exceed level 1 because you're level 1 cleric, and you get your level +1 total. So you get to pick 2 level 1 spells. Your options are Bless, Cure Light Wounds, Detect Alignment, Cause Fear, Magic Weapon, Sanctuary, Speak with Dead.
I kind of want to go with Speak with Dead with this character.
Okay. What, Speak with Dead and Cause Fear?
I was thinking about Cause Fear. I think I'll go with Speak with Dead and Magic Weapon, though.
All right. And then we're going to quickly hop over to Fighter, because you want to take your next level in Fighter. And the rule is what? You pick 1 move from that class.
I
know you just linked this.
Yeah, you get to choose any move of your level or lower.
All right, well, you're currently level 2, so you can't... Oh, so you could take one of the advanced moves.
I could take a level 2 if I wanted.
But why would you pass up Signature Weapon?
I mean, honestly, part of the reason I kind of want to use Ben Bar's Lift Gates. I kind of
When you use Pure Strength to destroy an inanimate obstacle, it doesn't take very long, nothing values damage, doesn't make an inordinate amount of noise, or you can fix the thing again without a lot of effort.
But Signature Weapon is pretty big deal. Let me just double check what the advanced moves, because I forgot that I actually have
advanced moves are Merciless, which is plus 1d4 damage. Heirloom is when you have to have Signature Weapon for that. Armor Mastery is...
the damage is negated, but you must reduce the armor value of your armor by 1. That's pretty cool, actually.
Na, na, na.
When you discern realities during combat, take +1 for seeing red.
Yep. Interrogator. When you parlay using threats of impending violence as leverage, use strength instead of charisma. When you hack slash an enemy, your next attack that against that same foe deals 1d4 damage. Multi-class Dabbler. Iron Hide. It's +1 armor Blacksmith. You have the ability to forge magic powers of a weapon onto your signature weapon. I'd probably go with signature weapon and go up the signature weapon chain as you leveled up. Being able to commune with its spirits, being able to give it magic powers.
Man, this one's actually hard.
Yeah, Fighter is a great class.
I actually, for some reason, thought that you would get the base moves with the.
No, you can't take the higher moves unless you have the previous moves.
No, I thought it like when you multi-class, you would just get the base moves from another class.
Oh no,
one of their base moves.
Yeah, they're not looking to give you like packages of moves on a level, because everybody else in your own level you'd only get one move, and because moves aren't like the game doesn't have the same like power structure that you're used to in an RPG. It's not like a move is like it's not like level 2 is inherently more powerful than level 1. It just means you have more stuff you can do.
Give me a minute to check this, because I completely forgot about the advanced moves as well. So I just want a little bit to look it over.
You're literally the last thing we have to do before we play.
Yeah, no, I meant like we can get into play.
Okay. So we've done our bonds. Are we good to go? Is everything settled?
Yeah. I'm ready.
I noticed that the SRD is listing different numbers for the modifiers. That's where the sheet is getting those numbers than the numbers you gave us.
Yep.
That's why the macros don't work.
Okay.
Oh, what are the modifiers that they're using for the SRD?
Well, they give you 17, 15, etc. to start off with instead of the lower numbers that we have. But then it's I don't know what the actual.
Yeah, they're saying 13 to 15 is +1 and 16 to 17 is +2. So.
But they give you a 16 to 17 to start off with.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So are we? We're all good to go.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna flash the logo and we can start playing. Welcome back to youtube.com/EvilSqueegee. We did a little bit of the world building and stuff inherent to the Dungeon World system before play. This is picking up after our Deal with the Devil one-shot last week. Sarah is going to be missing for a while as a player. She's got real-life stuff to do, so for a bunch of weeks she's going to be gone, and rather than carrying on the Judas Steer campaign in her absence, we've decided to take this Dungeon World campaign. She'll play with us until she has to go, and then we'll figure out where we're going from there, but we're going to keep doing this Dungeon World campaign until she gets back. We have decided the Bonegrinder village, the Bonegrinder orcs, were the orcish tribe who have infectious blood, is just 2 days away from Kajerton, which is a village that is dedicated to the rabbit god. Gods in this setting are very small. They're kind of localized. Everything in the world has a spirit, or a location has a god or a spirit or whatever attached to it. The orcish tribes they dominate the area to the west of the kingdom. We now know that the kingdom is ruled over by the warrior queen who usurped power over the tyrant king. We're going to call her a chaotic good queen. She's the only real political power that's managed to establish itself in the past 10 years. The capital city has a thieves guild. There's another village called Frankville, where Frank's character hails from, and they follow the tenets of the local spirit of the fox, making them enemies of the village that follows the rabbit in Kajerton. The Briar Forest is where you guys were. Basically, you guys were all mercenaries, and you had been hired by the Kajerton village to tackle the rabbit problem. Now, this was right up your alley, Jonah, because you come from Frankville, where they follow the fox. The fox totem. Now, the problem that we're having is that the crops are the primary resource that sustains Kajerton. And because they follow the rabbit totem, they couldn't handle how many rabbits were just eating their crops. And so they needed the population to be culled. They hired some mercenaries, and that's where you get Jonah, and Bryn is in it just for the coins. Now, your epic plan was to convince bone grinders in the nearby Bonegrinder village to sacrifice all those rabbits to the local rabbit totem. However, this was supposed to pit the bone grinders against the rabbits and solve two problems at once. It was a pretty brilliant plan. However, it went wrong. You guys got captured. The bone grinders wisened up to your plans, and in the adventure that followed, Grom was basically killed fighting and taking out the rest of the Bone Grinder village because they were going to kill you. Grom was then possessed by the Orcus, which is the totem of the Orc tribe. Grokthar, the Orcus of Slaughter, that is worshipped by the Bone Grinder tribe. Grom failed to strike a deal with the devil, and his corpse is now being used as a vessel, and Grokthar has stormed off to go and slaughter the other orc tribes and start a war among his people, which is probably going to spell trouble for everyone else, because the orcish tribes going to war means that there's going to be violence spilling over to the human kingdom that you guys are all a part of. Now, you guys are here in the Bone Grinder village. Maybe next week we'll have a real map. But today, the Briarwood is what we're going to call it. Briar Forest. We'll call it Briarwood. Briarwood is known for the sentient briars, the plants that will spring to life and grapple you and tear you to shreds if you are considered to be a threat to the rabbit population. The wood itself is an extension of the rabbit totem that the village that Kajerton follows. So it's going to take 2 days. I'm assuming you guys have 2 days worth of rations, right?
Yeah.
Yes, there's actually a couple things about that. One, if we camp ration free. That's my thingy.
You camp ration free.
Well, yeah, because and two, my bond with Bren is that I've guided her. I want to say it's because I know a way around the briars.
There is actually a move for blazing a trail. And because we have a ranger at the table, I'm actually going to look it up, and we're going to find out exactly how it works.
Okay.
Also, how much weight is 200 coins? What did you say?
One.
I didn't have that. It's one weight for 200? Okay.
Actually, you know what? It might be two. It might be 1 per 100 coins.
It's 1 per 100?
Yeah.
Because we each got 200 coins. And we also got that orcish statue, which I think is probably also 1 weight, but I'm making Frank carry that.
Oh, is it undertake a perilous journey?
Yes, it should be on a general move. Do you know, you're looking at the SRD and I'm...
Yes.
Table of contents. No, it's gonna be the index in the back. Is there an index in the back? Yes, it's perilous journey, right? So it's gonna be at a P. No, P. Oh, these are monsters. Paladin moves, parlay, perception. Is it T? Curious, is it trailblazing?
I think it actually might be
Traveling.
under undertake.
See, undertake, perilous journey. It's on page 75. All right. So the way this works is there are only 2 of you, so you're gonna be short 1 roll. However, I think as the ranger, you get to pick a second roll. You should have a move that pertains to this. So, undertake a perilous journey. When you travel through hostile territory, choose 1 member of the party to act as trailblazer, 1 to scout ahead, and 1 to be quartermaster. Each character with a job to do rolls plus wisdom. On a 10+, the quartermaster reduces the number of rations required by 1. The Trailblazer reduces the amount of time it takes to reach your destination. The GM will say by how much. The Scout will spot any trouble quick enough to let you get the drop on it. On a 7 to 9, each performs their job as expected. The normal number of rations are consumed. The journey takes about as long as expected, and no one gets the drop on you, but you don't get the drop on them either. You can't assign more than 1 job to a character. If you don't have enough party members, choose not to assign a job. Treat that job as if it had been assigned. And the responsible player had rolled a 6. You automatically get to choose. You can automatically fail one of those 3 things.
Question: my companion is trained in scouting. Can I go ahead and assign the scout to it? Through command.
I'm going to guess no, because your companion is an aspect of you as a character.
Okay.
But you do have a move for this situation, right?
Yeah, the animal companion has. I got the pick.
Ranger should have a move about trailblazing, though.
I've got. No, I have hunt and track, and I have. That's when you follow a trail or clues left behind, but not for trailblazing. Not yet, not unless it's an advanced move when I level up.
Let's see. And you have hunt and track, called shot, animal companion command.
And then
okay, it must be an advanced move. Okay, so which of you? Okay, so you're short one.
Yes.
All right. So you have a destination. The Trailblazer reduces the amount of time it takes to reach your destination if on a 10+. The Quartermaster will reduce the number of rations required by 1.
Or Scout.
And the Scout will spot any trouble quick enough to let you get the drop on it.
Now, if we automatically take a 6 on Quartermaster, what happens?
Then you're gonna add 1 ration.
Okay. Well, he doesn't require any rations.
So we would. Be
so it's fine if I
rations.
do. Yeah. So I'm gonna do the scout thing.
Okay.
Yep.
So you're gonna scout, and that leaves trailblazing to the ranger. So roll me wisdom, each of you.
Wisdom.
Hold on just a second.
Well,
you get to mark XP.
We'll take a point of XP.
And you were the scout, right? So if danger falls upon you, they will get the drop on you.
8.
On an 8, it takes us like it's going to take the same amount of time.
Okay.
So that's 2 days of travel. So each of you, okay, it's normally going to be 2 per, right? Except for we're failing our quartermaster, so that's going to be 4 out of Sarah's pocket.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, 3 out of Sarah's pocket. Now the ranger has bonus rations that he can pay for.
Yeah.
I don't care who pays for who, as long as people eat.
I'm willing to. I've got 5 bonus rations, so I can just pay for Sarah's.
Okay.
Well, I'll take the 3 off now, and
okay.
Actually, you know what?
If I need them, I'll let you know.
This is I did the whole journey in 1 trip. I wasn't supposed to. It's supposed to be per hex, right?
Per hex.
So yeah. So the first hex, you guys are leaving the Bonegrinder village, and you have successfully found your way to this this briar patch in the middle of the forest.
So I only eat 2 rations.
You only eat 2 rations, right?
I'm stress eating.
Yeah.
Scorm is gone. Stay there. No.
All right. That night you're gonna have to make camp. When you're on watch and something approaches the camp, roll plus wisdom. Does something approach the camp? We're gonna say no. So that's so roll it again. Wisdom from each of you for the second day of travel. You can change.
Oh yeah.
All right. So
8.
you will.
Ooh, 8 again.
And an 8 again. All right. So it is gonna take us another day. So that's going to be normal. That's going to, again, 2 rations out of Sarah because she's stress eating. Okay, I'm sorry, not Sarah. Bryn. In character names. Okay, now, with all of that said, I've actually never used those rules before, and I was very excited to have a ranger in the party that might make that relevant. So... Now, where are we? Kajerton? Okay, so Kajerton is a moderately wealthy village. This is a place of luck. I'm gonna say like the gambling is a favorite pastime of the commoners here. Now the village it's steady village side. It has a militia. So as you approach the village itself, it's a crop farming village. So there's all kinds of plots of land, and there's acres upon acres around. And the center of town, where you're going to find like the inn and the tavern and all that stuff, takes you a ways even once you're in the safe zone of the village, right? Now, the Bonegrinder village that was encroaching on Kajerton is gone. You guys have actually accidentally eradicated the entire thing. Right down to the cave troll, which probably had a lot of the villagers on edge. The only reason they haven't been swatted out is because of the briars that actually take a lot of effort for you guys to avoid. And we're gonna say, Sarah, we'll deal you because you've miserably failed that. You miserably failed first 6. Wow.
Well, if we do that though, I have a move that allows me to, quote, shoot first if anything's going to be getting the drop on me. So I don't know if you want to go back and resolve that.
Nah, I don't want to actually put an encounter. I was just gonna say like over the course of that. But then I realized you guys you heal up at the end of a rest anyways, so it doesn't matter.
Okay.
So there's a slightly adventurous and eventful trip as the Briars are like grabbing you and tearing you. So your clothes are a little torn up and so you come out bloodied. Remember, you've got a bad ankle.
Yeah.
The ranger has a bad ankle from having been thrown around in the cage and not being able to break out. You guys are all like, you're bloodstained. You guys were supposed to go handle some rabbits. And you come back into town laden with gold, treasure. What is your first stop when you hit the village?
Did Gorm head this direction or a different direction?
Gorm headed into the west.
Okay.
Oh, so he headed further into...
he headed further into Orcish territory, which is why you didn't pursue him on the spot.
Well, we need to, like, get rested and healed up, so I'm thinking in the inn.
Yeah, we also probably need to reassess what stuff we're carrying with us.
Yeah, we need to purchase rations and things if necessary.
All right, so let's get this. Let's. You guys have the equipment list is in the back of the book, but I imagine it's also going to be there, right?
I have found.
Let me find out what it's called in the book. No, those are adventure moves. Where's the equipment? It's called Dungeon Gear, I think. Equipment. Yeah, equipment, Dungeon Gear. The prices are listed there. You guys have gold, all right? I really have to pee.
Okay.
So why don't you guys choose what you're going to purchase and buy?
What page number?
It's on page 326.
Thank you.
Stock yourself up on gear. Chris, we're gonna have you on panel here in a little bit. I'm gonna pee and then we can kick off the roleplay when I get back.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Welcome back to youtube.com/EvilSqueegee. I am EvilSqueegee. I'll be your Dungeon Master today. Today we are seeing Sarah P. That's me playing Bryn the Halfling Thief. Pukajutsu playing Jonah the Human Ranger.
Yes.
And with a pet wolf named Critter. And then we've got Kajer, who died last week. So the one shot we played last week was so awesome, we're going to go right back into it and turn it into a campaign. Last week's adventure took place on the Bonegrinder village, 2 days away, which was a fairly, it was a bit of a struggle for you guys to, for Bryn and Jonah to jump out of the Bonegrinder village and go to Kajerton. Now the Bonegrinder village marks the border, we have decided, of the Orcish hordes to the west, right? This is the Orcish borderline here, okay? The idea here is that the only reason they had not swatted down Kajerton, because Kajerton is at the outskirts of the kingdom, was that the Briarwood here is charged with the totemic energies of the rabbit spirit that owns these woods, that is the central religious focal point for Kajerton. And the briar plants here have gained some level of sentience, and they defend the rabbit and the rabbit's children from anything that would cause them harm. Now, namely, Bryn slaughtered a whole bunch of rabbits. As a matter of fact, they had been hired by the village to deal with the rabbit problem because the rabbits are destroying the crops, which is the main resource of the village. That was it's supposed to be like a very under the hood thing. It's not popularized. It's supposed to be kept quiet because the village worships the rabbit gods. So why would you ever want everybody knowing that you're killing a whole bunch of rabbits? So the goal was we were going to come over here, we're going to con the orcs into killing all the rabbits so that we didn't suffer the wrath of the rabbit god. Everything went 7 ways sideways, like it was terrible. You guys aimed for the dude sitting next to you, and you hit the guy 3 instances down the line. And the Bonegrinder village is on fire, it's burning, it's dead. Everything is gone, the cave troll has been slayed, everything is toast. It is now the ruins of a Bonegrinder village. And you lost your barbarian. You lost Grom. Grom was possessed by the Orcus, the local deity of the orcs, of slaughter, Grok Thar. He marched off into the Orcish lands, his body did, possessed by the god, into the Orcish lands to the west to go cause as much civil war and destruction as he could, because he wants nothing more than slaughter, and there is nothing more fun to slaughter than people who fight back, and nobody fights back quite like an orc tribe. So, he's going to go kill his own people, and that's going to be one of our core plot themes over the course of our adventures. You guys landed in the village, you've stocked up, you've bought gear, but you've cashed in your treasures, you've held on to things, you're all settled on that, and you are in the bolt hole. The bolt hole is it's actually carved, like it's carved kind of like a hobbit hole is, like out of a hillside. Right, so like there's you've got the woods all around the village, and it's all farmland, and the woods started to get cleared out as you approached, and you're passing all the plots of farmland and crops and so on and so forth. And in the middle of town, in the center point of traffic, which is basically just a place where all the farmers trade their equipment, and it's all very mostly self-contained. This is where, you know, occasionally there'll be carriages that come in, caravans that come in and buy and trade and sell and all that stuff. It's not a huge trade hub. As a matter of fact, most of the time the villagers here will have to hop over, find a different route to the main road to go up to the capital of the city, the capital of the kingdom, to do most of their trading, because they don't get along with the other villages on the main road. Such as Frankville, where Jonah is from, and also I think where Kajer's character will be from as well, but we haven't met him yet. The neighboring village worships the fox spirit that inhabits that area, and they have an enmity with the rabbit spirit of the village that we are currently in Kajerton. So you guys pull into the bolt hole, and there's a round door that's it's human-sized, right? And it opens up, and the inside has been very finished with like wood rafters. It's a low ceiling for a human. There are tables and chairs. There's one barmaid kind of like polishing off the surface of a table. The place is not very busy right now. There is but one character of note in the tavern, probably sitting in the perpetually dark corner with an empty table. Despite the fact this is in a hill and we probably don't have corners, he's found one, and that's where he's sitting. So what is your character's name? It's Carmine, right? Mm-hmm. So what does the character look like as he is sitting at the table in the otherwise fairly unoccupied tavern?
So he has the 3 lines of hair on his head, not quite like mohawk length, but medium length. He's wearing a brown habit, which for the people that don't know it's actually monk's robes is effectively what they look like.
So we're like talking like straight out of friggin' Robin Hood.
Yeah,
like
effectively.
The brown robe with the rope tied around the waist.
It's a darker brown. It's almost like a burgundy color.
Okay. What color is his hair?
His hair is actually it's red down the middle and then black on the sides.
Okay.
So his 3 hairs are red, and his
the red stripe down the center,
down the middle.
Oh, okay,
and
gotcha.
Black stripes, yeah.
Okay.
And he, despite the fact that he doesn't look very old, he's very weather worn. Like his skin's very leathery, very thick, and very tight to the bones.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just kind of hunched over his drink, looking into the drink, actually.
Now, this is significant because I believe Bryn has stolen from him before. Mm-hmm. Whether or not he knows is up to you guys to play out as it comes up. And you are actually friends with Jonah, aren't you, Carmine?
Yes.
You both hail from Frankville?
I actually, I grew up there, but I decided to move here because I felt that the wisdom of my deity was more needed here.
Right. Now, who is your deity? And you have the holy symbol around your neck, I assume.
I do.
The eye. Now, who is your deity again?
We didn't actually give him a name. Let me double check here.
It doesn't have to come from the list if you have a better idea.
I don't know why, but Circulius comes.
Circulius?
Yeah.
All right, now tell me
Circulius George.
So
now I can't use that name.
Okay, so what is his name?
Do you have any
Rewind.
thoughts on a
for
deity
your
name? Because
deity?
apparently I'm just gonna make it with too many Y's.
We could just fucking call it Verbena. Make it a goddess.
Okay, I see where you're going with that. Okay, we'll go with that.
Verbena, and she is goddess of life. She believes in the sanctity of suffering, right?
Yeah, it's the sanctity of suffering and the knowledge and hidden things. Knowledge and wisdom gained through suffering is what I'm going with here.
Like basically how we adapt and grow over the course of our lives.
Yeah.
We learn things, and usually it comes from suffering. Okay, can you tell me about one tenet of your faith, or one ceremony that is not necessarily magical, but traditional? I'm going to ask you this every session until we have a really cool, in-depth feeling for this religion.
That's fine. It's actually the Verbena have a little bit of a love-hate relationship with some of the orcs, particularly with the Heartripper clan. Because
so your goddess actually doesn't hate the Heartrippers?
It's more that like the followers don't really know what to make of some of the orcs, particularly because the Heartripper clan, the Verbena think that the Heartripper clan actually started its beliefs based on the Verbena religion, and the Heartripper clan thinks that they're ripping off, because what the Verbena do is they actually collect a vial of blood from anybody that they end up in combat with, and in the next time that they sit down to either commune or drink or whatever, they have to put that in their drink in order to share in the suffering that they've
pay respects to the victim.
Yeah. And glean some of the wisdom that they've gained while you're paying your respect to.
And so they think that they have ties to the Heartripper clan, or there's some mysterious, like, there's hints of it. Nobody's really certain what it is. Okay, I like that. I can tell a cool story around that. That's really awesome. All right, so there he is. He's you guys know that he's a cleric of Verbena.
You'll notice the weapon, though. It's really hard not to, because it's sitting next to the table.
Okay. It's bigger than me.
What is the weapon?
It actually is. It is a huge warhammer.
Yeah.
I am going to go with signature weapon here because I can't help.
Oh, because it's so good.
Well, no, it's because... so it is huge, but... So have you ever seen a meat tenderizer?
Yeah. It's Harley Quinn's hammer.
No. It effectively.
Sorry, now you can't use that either.
Picturing the end of the warhammer almost like a meat tenderizer.
Are you thinking like a Tetsubo?
Yep, with the whole like.
No, it's an actual warhammer with like the square head.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But the ends of on the ends of the squares, there's almost a serrated spikes on the flat where the flat ends should be.
Okay.
And the entire thing is, it looks from a distance like it's marbled with this dark metal that runs through it, and it's actually just completely stained in blood over the whole, not even just the head, but down the handle as well.
What are the stats?
It looks like there's actually veins running through the weapon.
What are the stats and tags it's got?
It has huge, blood-stained, and I could either go with hooks and spikes or serrated edges.
Hooks and spikes seems to make the most sense.
Well, it's basically they both get +1 damage, but the hooks and spikes adds +1 weight. So whichever.
Which would you prefer? It's your weapon.
Well, I don't really know. Like, does that count as serrated edges to have like spikes on the end of a hammer? Yeah. Like, sure, we'll go with serrated edges then. So it also has messy and forceful as a result of it.
It has messy, forceful. Okay, that's what huge does. And what's its range?
Close.
Not melee?
It's hand closer reach.
Oh, hand closer reach. Okay, yeah. And it's close. Okay.
Yep.
So as you guys step in, there he is. Jonah.
Yes.
You recognize Carmine.
Yes, I do, of course. I am going.
He was like, "You chose the worst time to focus on me."
Do we even see him?
Yeah,
he's in the dark corner.
I'm like the only person in the.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like business is slow right now. It's just like it's him and like one of the farmers on the other side, right?
Like I still have like a very light limp because my ankle is still messed up, and we even traveled on it despite all that, and we're like moving in because we just. For some reason, we went to take care of a rabbit problem, and we came back looking like we just walked out of like a Bruce Willis movie.
Yep.
And so like it's that moment where it's like, you know, I'm kind of just hobbling, thinking, okay, I'm going to make it somewhere to rest, not expecting to see him there, and then all of a sudden, I'm standing up straight, and I walk right over, and I go, "Brother!" I clap him on the back.
There's a solid heartbeat before he jerks up. Jonah? What?
It's been
years.
How many?
When I last saw.
Not enough.
5.
Not enough.
I Brent,
what is that?
She owes me.
As many do.
This one particularly more.
You and Gorm and probably your pet and the whole orc village and the rabbit people. That's why we're here.
Oh, the rabbit people. You took care of my problem then.
Yep, problem solved. More problems have popped up, but the problem is solved.
Really?
Yes.
Tell me more.
One in particular? I believe that our companion is now serving as a vessel for something far worse than anything we should have gotten ourselves into.
But we killed the cave troll!
Cave troll's gone.
A vessel, so one of them walks then.
One of who?
What?
Well, there's more than just a handful of deities around.
Oh yeah, I met another one of those. It didn't like me very much.
Did you catch a name?
Did I catch a name?
I wouldn't. Well,
so out of character, what is known to the party is that an Orcus is a special kind of totem that forms around Orcish tribes and Orcish villages. It's born out of like the psychic frenzy that orcs can produce. And it's unlike any other totemic spirit because totemic spirits tend to come from the land or something natural, right? Orcus is
so I did
like
not
that.
actually speak to the rabbit god.
Right.
You did
the one that punted me.
You did speak to the rabbit god. The Orcus in question is Grokthar.
I see.
And that is
see that's
the
where
Orcus
I was
of
gonna
slaughter. Yeah.
Yeah,
now,
I was gonna answer that one, and she was talking about the rabbit.
The rabbit god is simply known as Rabbit. Maybe Briar Rabbit would be how he is known. But that's the information for the player characters. We can now back in character. Go.
I'll let her continue because yeah.
Briar Rabbit.
Did he say anything interesting?
No, he kicked me.
Displeased.
Well,
then.
he might have also said some things.
Displeased.
Yeah, well, we were dealing with the problem.
That's good. That's good.
The Grokthar, the Orcus. It's the problem.
No, not at all. Well, yes, but no. I'm glad everything seems to be going according to plan then.
No, it's not going according to plan. He took over my friend.
Well, I mean, there are always sacrifices that need to be made.
No, no, unacceptable.
I mean, would you propose yourself as a vessel instead?
Yes.
Oh, well, I'm sure that we can arrange for something of that nature.
Or, somebody else entirely. That doesn't matter. But
well,
I'm going to suggest
if it came down to
perhaps volunteering as a vessel.
Well, look at me. I can do a lot less damage than Gorm.
Well, that's not necessarily... I'll keep that in mind.
Okay. He saved my life once. And I failed to save his, so I want to get it back for him.
Seems like you've learned something interesting this journey.
All right, man. Cut the wise old ancient sagely crap. Speak your mind.
He has grown very old since I last seen him.
No, just been through much. I think that my time in this village has finally come to an end. Thank you very much for helping me in my endeavors here.
What are your endeavors?
Are you familiar with Verbena? I understand that there's a lot of gods to follow in this world, but...
No.
Joan, on the other hand, is just kind of standing back.
As it seems he's not realizing that I have done anything untoward toward him, I'll lower my hood back down.
Joan is having the, oh great, here comes the Verbena fanboy moment. And he just takes a step back.
What you've experienced is a trial of life. You've experienced a difficulty, and from that you're learning more of yourself and the world around you. Unfortunately, one of the things that many of the creatures, beings, and entities in our realm forget is that it's necessary. We all need to learn and grow. In order to that, we need to overcome trials. And many of the deities, particularly the animalistic totems, forget this. They try to remove themselves from the cycle of nature and create for themselves a den.
So that's what happened to this Earth place?
No, that's what happened with the rabbit god. He found himself a nice little home and decided to stop growing.
Oh yeah, briar patch. Pick a thorn out of my butt.
Decided to stop being prey. And that's what rabbits are. They're prey.
I think I'm allergic to briars.
Well, now the rabbit is back in the cycle. It has predator and prey. It is learning to grow and apparently encounter an orc deity, which will put it through some interesting paces.
So as you guys are conversing here, a woman will enter. She's dark-skinned, beautiful. She's built like a fucking bodybuilder. She is hulked the fuck out, right? Now, for both Jonah and Bryn, you haven't spent much time here. You kind of came here for a job, right? Mm-hmm. But if I'm to understand this properly, Carmine, you actually showed up here to kind of take a few jabs at Briar Rabbit, right? So you've been here for a week?
No, I set up shop here shortly after I left.
Okay,
the other village.
Then I need a name. I need a one-syllable name for a badass chick.
Roxy.
That's not one syllable.
Chris has a hard time counting.
Well, I thought of Rox, and then I was like, but a Y would be better, so I didn't think of the extra syllable. Rox is also acceptable.
So we'll call her Rox. R-H-O-X. Because I'm fancy like that, and it'll make Chris's inner special snowflake name person happy.
That's how you spelled Aubrey's Mount. Don't fucking put that off on me, you piece of shit.
Yeah, I was not gonna say it.
So Rox, you're familiar, Carmine, with Rox. She is a woman of few words. The words that she uses tend to be small, but you know for a fact this is not because she lacks eloquence or education. She just doesn't put effort into communication when she doesn't need to. She'd rather point than say, look over there. She's the local blacksmith, and her steel is untouched by her rivals from other villages, which is odd because she's here in Kajerton instead of anywhere else where blacksmiths would normally go. But she seems content for the quiet life here. Now, Carmine, you have eyes for people who have suffered, and she has seen so much. But she doesn't like to talk about any of it. And for the most part, if you've needed some blacksmithing done, she's happy to help. for a price, but you haven't really had many dealings with her.
Okay.
And she just kind of like enters in and sits down at the bar and has her usual while you guys are talking. Now, this is only abnormal because it means that she's not at the forge, which is where she spends all of her time, particularly at this time of day.
Because I don't tend to really let people touch the hammer very much, how has she reacted to it? Like, to me just having it?
When you first showed up, it was a conversation piece, but she was actually really respectful of the hammer.
Okay.
You happen to know that she has, herself, a double-bladed sword that splits into two. She's got the medieval equivalent of Darth Maul going on, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And she seems particularly skilled with it for somebody who just makes weapons. But she seems to, like, she carries the double blades on her back and an X wherever she goes, and there was that understanding of no touchy the goods, and she just immediately got it.
Does she I would have, since I've been here for a long time, tried to find out a little bit of the story behind that weapon, or the weapons.
She only manages, like, the only thing you've managed to dig up is that she made the weapons herself, as a personal reminder that just because you are broken apart does not mean you cannot be made whole. And that was after a long night of drinking and really prying.
Okay.
If it had been any other person, you would have known what they had for breakfast 3 days after the 4th of July, blah, blah, blah. And all you got from her was that it was, she made the weapons herself, and she specifically designed them as a manifestation of that thought.
Okay.
But you've never found out why that thought was so important to her.
No, I don't need to. I was just curious about the significance of something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh, right. She has a distinctive scar directly over her heart.
I assume she probably hasn't spoken of those either.
No, not at all.
Yeah, okay.
So she comes in and sits down when she would normally be working.
And we're in the middle of that conversation.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm doing I hear movement and I kind of watch the movement kind of thing, but I don't have any interest in her beyond that, other than she looks remarkable for one reason or another. Oh. No drinks. Unhappy DM.
No! Everybody dies.
Everybody dies.
Right. So do you react to this change at all?
I will set my drink down as I'm talking with Bryn, and I will
pick
look
it up.
over. I will actually look over at out of the corner of my eyes, because there is blood in that drink. So I will just watch her.
And now, and now she owes you.
Hold on.
In this game, when you drink blood, Sarah, I'm not going to immediately ask you for a save versus addiction.
I drink more.
All right.
I rolled Constitution.
Yeah.
I will watch her for a few minutes, and I was going to say something to the woman at the bar, but now I'm sitting back in the chair, and how is Rekthar? I look at her.
Alive and well.
No, he's currently in the cup that you're drinking. You should probably listen before you grab.
I mean, can you please explain yourself?
There, I grew up with him, and I still have no explanation.
I look over at Jonah, and I'm just.
How
like,
could he be here? Wait, Gorm's in here? Did you kill him?
No, other names.
She has a knack for hearing. I can tell.
Well, if
I look-
Roxar went into Gorm, and now there's blood of Roxar is in the cup.
I said Rexthar. I know orcish names; they're hard to tell.
What?
Is it-
That's different?
Yes.
Spell it.
All you orcish gods look alike.
Frank is
I
done.
look over-
He's slayed himself. It's over.
I look over, and she asked me to spell it. And I tilt my head. Okay. I pick up the hammer
Yeah.
and I smash off the side of the table, something like that.
Everybody will stop and turn and look. Right. The guy behind the bar. Like, you know, he's just like he's wiping down the counter. He's got his curl. He just looks over and says, "You're gonna pay for that."
I shrug in acknowledgement of what he's saying, but
Yeah.
I don't seem to notice.
The weaponsmith will look over, right? She says, he says, "You're gonna pay for that." You shrug. What'd the table ever do to you? Blacksmith says. Rocks.
We're having a spelling lesson.
Orcs. Right.
Wait, what?
The orcs don't have a written language. It's the sound. They get their language from the sounds of things being smashed, broken, stabbed, bleeding, the death gurgles of their victims, etc.
Now explain the subtlety between Rexar and Rexar.
Grokthar
Grokthar.
is the Orcus of Slaughter.
I was getting that wrong.
Grokthar, the Orcus of Slaughter. Rekthar is... Wasn't he that... Didn't he come through recently? She asks, did he leave?
No.
She raises her mug.
I take the mug back from her, and I raise my mug and drink. Blood. It's a Verbena tradition. And I look at Bryn finally.
Well, not bad. Which is great because you're trying to convert me.
So Rox will set her glass down, set her mug down. She says, "Props on keeping it quiet."
What, the spelling lesson?
No, killing an orc in the middle of the village. She kind of like picks her blades up and puts them on her back. She'll give like the silent salute, and she'll head out.
I will. What clan was this orc from, Grant?
Bonegrinder is the only one that's nearby.
Question.
What's up?
Are the contents of that glass green?
No, they're like a murky brown color. Just because he
Okay.
drinks blood doesn't mean he's going to drink it without diluting it.
it, yeah.
He's not a monster.
I'm willing to say it's safe because it's the Verbena tradition.
Okay, I just had a moment.
Yeah, no, that's a good question.
Symbolic, yeah, symbolic.
Well, no, I was actually going to. I was going to say to her that. Well, I'm impressed that you haven't shown any signs. Your constitution is stronger than most. Conversion.
Yes, it is.
If you were. Yes, of course. So
okay.
what did you do for her exactly, Jonah?
I was her trail guide, and that's about it.
How did you find how did you find two deities?
Well, you see, there's the deity that gets involved when you happen to slaughter or have other people slaughter several of its kind.
Well, yes, but normally they don't just show up by killing their followers. If that were the case, the gods would be walking among us far more often. So there has to be some kind of something else.
Well, when you kill them in mass,
mankind has been killing followers of other gods for centuries in mass.
Fair enough. I'm not exactly certain about that one.
Was there any kind of
you do the deities and I do the
anything there of magical significance or looking particularly ancient beyond the gods, obviously?
I mean, I'm not an expert, but there were some, some fires, and there was a lot of killing of a lot of.
I know plants and animals better than I know orcs, even though there's
some overlap.
But it did look like there was maybe some kind of revel going on that might be unusual, like not just their standard revel, because there were
some kind of ritual,
bonfires, things like that,
or a celebration of maybe something that had happened that they were doing. But I think they planned to eat us. We captured us and
a ritual feast.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes much more sense. You don't happen to have the head of a shaman, do you?
Not on me.
No.
I have this, and I'll pull out the statue and set it on the table.
It's a miniature altar to the Orcus of Slaughter.
We'll lean in. Oh, that explains a lot.
You're cutting off half your face.
Don't touch it!
That's fine.
That's my only link to get Gorm back.
There were candles set up around this, yes? Small dais, maybe? Box?
Yeah, I didn't know. I was too busy slaughtering rabbits.
Yes.
Yeah, by an altar.
Yeah.
I see. No, you of course didn't notice. I can tell you that there is probably a way to commune with the Orcus.
I mean, we did talk to it briefly, I think, before it walked away.
I will motion to the statue and I say, more than likely, if you were killing rabbits wholesale, your prayers were probably not enough to summon it. However, if you were spilling rabbit blood on an altar dedicated to the rabbit deity, then blood of its followers on an altar dedicated to it in its environment was probably enough. With that said, this statue is not unlike the same thing. So with blood of the Bonegrinders, who are one of the followers of the Orcus of Slaughter, and him being on the mortal plane currently, putting blood on the statue might be enough to commune with the deity. Now, doing anything.
I pick up the mug and dump it on the thing.
No, can I make a grab for the statue?
Yes,
I'm holding the mug. I'm literally drinking from the mug.
Oh, that's right. You need to pick it back up.
All right. So everybody goes.
I would say with respect to the people who live here that perhaps communing with the Orcus of Slaughter here.
Well, the town would certainly grow from it.
There is an order of things, and I understand that we can influence this. But
no price is too high.
She is interesting. I'll give you that.
She's committed.
Yes.
In one fashion or another, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So,
and yes.
What is the plan then?
I think they're trying to form a plan right now. I'm just watching because this is just fascinating.
I say that here and now is a really bad time and place to do that.
Give me that!
Unfortunately, we got a really emotional thing.
I pick up the hammer and I literally just like hold the top of it against her like a stick.
Like, oh, yeah.
My dog's like, what the fuck is that?
So, given what happened, given the amount of carnage that was wrecked the last time this god was communing with, perhaps doing it in the town is a bad idea, but you can head out of town to do it.
Right, and see, I'm over here like, yeah, maybe we could find somewhere else, and he's like, well, the town would learn from it, and she's like, fuck it, let's do it.
I'm not going to encourage it. I'm just saying that, there's as much to be gained.
Can it be agreed upon that perhaps we find some place that is not like settled with innocent people, and we plan to head out that way tomorrow and see if contacting Grokthar does anything?
I'm fine with that. It's whether or not the halfling can wait that long.
Can I pick her up and move her away?
Yes, I'm assuming that if you promise her that we will do so, we will just do so tomorrow. That's what's gonna go on. Is he wants to pick her up, he wants to pull her aside for a second and be like, look, we're gonna do this. We have to do this right.
I will hand her like an empty coin pouch to breathe into.
All right.
Have a bag like the one.
Let's take a night to rest. Let's get our bearings. Let's take this back out of the town, and we'll take a look at it then and there, and we'll see if we can actually pull this off without getting more people needlessly slaughtered.
All right. So, let's see if I can squeeze this all in half an hour. That night, you guys have all shelled out a coin for your... All right, we'll assume that because Chris didn't get any of the loot, that I'm not going to charge him coins. We'll say he's already paid for a week.
I figured I'd probably actually had like a job here as one of the local clerics or something.
So that evening, let's see. Okay, so I gotta axe those things and move on. All right. So that evening, you guys are resting. You guys are sleeping. And you will awaken to the smell of extremely thick smoke, the clashing of steel ringing through the air, and the heat of fire in the room with you. There are, like, cursing and screaming and guttural, blood-curdling cries of pain and rage ringing throughout the village. But you guys don't see any action. You're all spending the night in your own rooms, right? But you'll all wake up roughly around the same time, right? You've got rooms right next to each other, and you'll wake up to the sounds of battle and fire. What do you do?
Okay.
I grab my axe and jump out the window.
No hesitation. No, just nonchalantly. I grab my axe and jump out the window.
Sorry.
All right, so you're on the second floor. Give me a defy danger based on strength to land that jump with your giant motherfucking hammer. So the rest of you hear this sound. What do you do?
I'm gonna get into my gear real quick and get Critter and head for the
I pass.
front,
I'm fine.
the entrance, the front door. So out into the tavern, I suppose.
I am also gonna throw my gear on really quick, and then I'm going to ride Critter out.
Okay. So
okay.
Carmine, you hit the ground, and what you are going to turn and see, and immediately you're going to understand what's happened here. The village there's a wildfire spreading through the village, but that's not the major problem here. The major problem is the villagers have turned on themselves with pitchforks and swords, and like the militia is fighting itself. It would appear that whatever slaughter went down in the Bonegrinder village managed to infect somebody here. And then that infection has begun to spread. The village is turned on itself. There are those without the constitution to withstand the Bonegrinder Plague. You were fine when you drank from the mug. Both of you, Carmine and Bryn. However, you're made of tougher stuff than your average commoner. That's why you chose the life to live that you did. You can't be a professional thief unless you've got what it takes to be a professional thief. You can't be an actual dedicated holy man to Verbena unless you can take a beating, and you've got the constitution to survive that. Most commoners just don't have that. And the whole town is at each other's throats. And that's what you're like processing, like, oh, that's what's happening here. It would appear that that you don't have, like, you're gonna have to set up the statue to commune with, and I mean, there's obvious threats and danger right now, because as soon as you stepped out, like, the mob of just chaos is going to wind up engulfing you soon. And as you are stepping out, moments later, you'll be joined by both Jonah and Bryn and Critter outside the bolt hole, looking at a battle in progress.
Is there any way to identify the ones that are infected?
Oh, you mean the rabid ones? Yeah, they're foaming at the mouth.
It's our own people.
Okay, I'll start heading towards the battle, and I will say, not anymore. Now they're his. I wonder how many will survive.
Not many if we don't do something about it.
I'll try and stick to unconscious.
There is a cure. It's a pain in the ass to obtain, and distributing it in mass is going to be exceedingly difficult. But technically speaking, there's a cure.
Do we see rocks among them?
Rocks, you don't see her anywhere yet.
Okay.
So you're just going to head in and just join the melee? All right.
Yes.
All right. So the cleric just starts with the giant hammer over his shoulder, just starts sauntering.
I actually
towards the
have
chaos.
a second one in my belt that I pick up.
Another hammer.
Yeah.
Okay.
A smaller hammer.
Okay. So he's got his giant fucking warhammer and his small. He's just got his weapons and he's heading in.
I might not have his enthusiasm for his god, but I've always trusted his judgment, so I'm following him in.
All right. And Bryn?
Throwing daggers.
All right.
So place of safety, throwing daggers from the shadows.
So the party's response to this chaos is not run away, but instead, all right, let's try and settle it.
Right.
Let's try and save as many victims as we can, be they victims of the plague or victims of the people infected by the plague.
Yes.
Okay. So you guys head into the fray. It's not long before the frothing masses of fighting notice you. You're hearing cries for help coming from various buildings around, because remember, women, children, the whole nine yards, just innocent civilians who have no combat training whatsoever. They live in a tiny-ass fucking middle of bumfuck nowhere village. They're not, like, trained warriors and stuff, and so people are getting slaughtered in their homes in their sleep. It's not long before, A, you're noticed by rabid, frothing at the mouth, orc-infected people, and B, you're noticed by members of the militia who are trying to defend people. So which direction do you guys want to go in? I'm guessing Carmine, you're gonna head right for the bad guys?
Yep.
All right. If you don't aid the militia, there will be more deaths. Your choice is eliminate more threats or protect more innocent. That's what I'm basically asking from each of you. They're both useful.
I will go for the militia then.
All right.
I will actually go for eliminate more threats. It goes in line with my alignment.
Yep. Okay. So you're gonna go at it with a volley, I assume.
Yes.
All right. So Carmine, you make a beeline for the first group of villagers that's being defended by a militia, and it's a good thing too, because as you run up to try and you put your hand on the shoulder of, like, the captain of the guard who's standing there, right? And he's been fighting off, and he's just pulling his sword out of an orcish corpse, and you're just about to, like, you're just letting him know that you're there and you're ready to go, and he turns around and you can see it splattered all over his face. in his defense of the villagers, he has become infected. And if you had not grabbed his attention, he would have just turned on them. What do you do?
I see the blood on his face. I pick up the small hammer. I break his jaw with it.
All right, give me a hack and slash. Meanwhile, Bryn and Jonah, you were both ranged.
Yeah.
Are you both focusing on threats or helping people?
I'm focusing on threats.
Okay.
Threats.
Okay. So I want you both to make volleys.
Okay.
Wow. Okay. So that's a 10. Would you like to deal the extra 1d6 damage but expose yourself to an attack?
I'm just trying to knock him out. That's why I hit to the jaw.
You're gonna need to deal damage. I don't mind if you just don't kill him. Like, there's no special rules for that. But you actually do need to drop him, or else he's gonna fight back.
Okay, I will do the extra d6.
All right, and you're going to expose yourself to an attack.
Yeah.
Okay. So you come around with the smaller hammer, right? Like right upside his jaw. Boom! And his whole body is gonna jerk away, and he's gonna snarl as the pain is the thing that tips him over the last bit into just being a feral-minded creature.
He takes 10 to the jaw.
He's gonna take 10 to the jaw? Alright, so he's gonna go down. You're just gonna knock him out, but as he falls to the ground, he lets loose a blood-curdling scream, and his attack is going to be to focus every nearby orc on you and those villagers.
Okay.
So then we're gonna move over to what are the results on those? You guys,
I
both
rolled
got 10
great.
plus.
Yeah.
Do I roll the damage die?
Yes.
Okay.
Damage is based on class. The volley is. I used to know where all these things were. Oh, there it is.
3. My damage is an 8.
Bronze characters, blah, blah, blah. Where the fuck are the moves? Hack / volley. All right. On a 10 plus, you have a clear shot. You deal your damage. On a 7, okay. So you're both gonna deal damage.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, can I call shot mine?
Yes, you can make yours a called shot.
Okay, then I am going to go for instead of the damage. Let's see. 10 plus is plus your
Damage and
Oh.
the effect. Yeah.
Okay,
You're
so
supposed
I'm
to
gonna
call
go
your
for-
shot then roll, but I don't care.
Yeah, it says. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I see where you're saying that. Yeah. It says legs. I think I'm gonna go for legs. I'm a hobble.
All right.
Them.
So
I think the less people that they get to, the. Yeah.
All right. So in the interest of saving time here, because we've only got a little bit left, we're gonna make these general narrative moments as opposed to specific monsters and hit points.
Yeah.
All right. So Bryn, you from on top of Critter, right? Critter's gonna be doing the moving and trying to keep you safe, while you're just unleashing a hail of throwing knives, and you're gonna be pinning these feral villagers. Aren't they're not intelligent anymore. They're like wild animals. They don't have a strategy. They're just a mob, right? And so you have no problem keeping to the outskirts of the mob and just dropping them, and they're falling like flies. Jonah, you're unleashing a shot after shot after shot. You're just trying to keep them as they're crawling towards.
Yeah, I was looking for basically the equivalent of D&D's penning shot.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you're shooting them at the ankles, the feet, the legs, anything to slow their movement down, which means that's going to put Carmine in less of a dangerous position. So Carmine, you drop them, you put yourself between the villagers and the horde as the horde was moving in, and then Jonah from afar is just thump, 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 and they're stumbling, and you have all the time in the world to think of what you want to do here. You were about to be swarmed, but now they're all stumbled. You have a second to go before they land on you, but they are coming for you. What do you do?
So basically, because there are still militia and people defending the village, right?
Very few. The numbers are dropping rapidly.
So what I'm going to do is, they're just going to keep piling towards the militia. What I'm looking is I want to kind of come around, so that, as the militia are fighting them off, there aren't more continuing to swell their ranks. I'm thinning the number and flanking the the orcs coming at the militia.
Okay, so with Jonah holding off the orcs that were rushing at you, you're going to take the opportunity to flank the main force that's coming at the militia, so that you can kind of like call the herd from behind. All right, that's what you just coming in with the hammer, just dong dong dong.
Yeah, I'll keep. Because are these actually people at this point, or are they like?
These are all villagers. Like the orcish plague just sets you full on from the inside out. They are becoming misshapen as they go. A lot of them are actually past recovery.
Well, the ones that are past recovery, I'll use the big hammer on, and the other ones I'll use the small.
All right, we'll say that you're taking out the ones past recovery first. Go ahead and roll me the hack and slash, because you're engaging in a melee with them. So you come in. How is it that you're swinging your hammer here? Are you going for like a big sweeping like cleave?
No, it's going to be like whack-a-mole.
All right, so you're coming down on them.
Yeah.
All right, roll it.
Mostly because I'm hoping that the blood splatter is going to be on legs and not on faces.
Right. Because that actually matters here.
It does. Especially because my weapon is messy.
Yes. Yes. I heard the bloop. Another 10. All right, so you are just fucking boom, boom, and you're thinning out the ranks behind them. Jonah and Bryn. Bryn, you're dropping them. Between you and Carmine, you're managing to reduce the threat on this group. With Carmine standing, like he's the one stemming the tide that's coming in, and piling in, and you're dropping the ones that are actually moving in. So Carmine is forming like this wall it's divide, and you two are the conquer. All right. So with you guys doing so well on your archery shots and your barrage of throwing knives, Critter's gonna like run over the corpses of the orcs, and you're gonna have the chance to like snatch your knives back up. And you have successfully saved at least a small portion of these villagers, right? Now, as you guys are doing that, there's going to be two more choices, right? As the sway of the battle goes this way and that, you've saved one group of villagers. Now, up ahead, at the outskirts of the village, you can kind of see, like, in the distance where the fire started was the crops, right? And you can kind of see where the strength of the swarm seems to have started from, was from the village at the very edge of town. That's where the thickest bunch of infected villagers are. And you have one more civilian group, but you've also got Rox. Now, Rox can defend herself. However, if she does not receive assistance in sufficient quantities, she will be overwhelmed. Sufficient quantities is going to be... like, if only one of you helps the villagers, you're going to lose half the villagers. But if only one of you helps Rox, there's a chance that she could wind up being infected.
But it's not uncurable.
It's not uncurable, no. However, those of lesser constitution tend to be, like, once the infection has spread past a certain point, it's irreversible. Yeah,
but she's the kind of person that she's already learned a lot in life. I think that she has the constitution. I will tell Jonah, because I know that Bryn's riding his wolf. I will yell at Jonah to send his companion to Rox, and start making towards.
I whistle and call for Critter to head that way.
And you point. Is Bryn riding Critter all the way over to Rox?
Yeah.
All right. So we'll handle Bryn first here. All right. So Critter starts bounding. Like, you almost weren't ready for this because, Critter's been running all over the place, but suddenly Critter is, like, doing massive jumping, like this loping run that like, you ever seen a husky go into a sprint?
Yeah.
It is unlike any other animal, and that's what's going on here, right? And so you're like, yeah, I'm running, I'm snatching, whoa! And the sudden turn and jump is almost enough to throw you off. So, like, you're hanging onto the side, and there's all these arrows and things being thrown, and pitchforks and short swords and stuff. What do you do to survive the danger of getting over to Rox?
I cling. Well, in Toy Story 2 when Woody rides the puppy out to the.
I actually haven't
the yard
seen that
sale.
so long. No, I don't.
He wraps his legs around the side. Like, he is actually riding the side of the dog.
Oh yeah, dipping
so he's
behind.
Not seen. Yeah, so he can't
totally.
be seen.
Yeah, okay.
So I'm clinging to the side.
So go ahead and roll me defy danger based on dexterity.
Sweet.
If it makes
Across
any
an active
difference,
battlefield while riding the ranger's wolf.
if it makes a difference to the amount of villagers that we save, it is worth noting that the weapon is forceful, and so the ground would actually be tremoring around each one of the hits to bring more of the people to their knees.
Am I still connected? I'm still connected. So
Yeah, you're good.
Pantomime! So
Got
like
too destructive with his destruction.
the tremoring of the earth that Carmine is unleashing with every strike fades away as you duck, and like you're not just riding on the side of the wolf. You've got to ride, but then you see something coming in, and so you kind of like bounce, and you're steering Carmine a little bit as you run to the other side. At one point, you're like underneath the wolf, like right, and the wolf will take one final leap, like over a couple of frothing, rabid villagers, and land with like that cool, like superhero skid, doggy style. I just said that out loud. I'm a badass. Next to Rox. Now Rox is still wearing like her blacksmith's apron, and like she's got like the tight-fitting leather gloves on, and she's got both of these blades out in their full glory. They don't have handguards. The blades are just wider than the actual grip. So the bottom of the blade is what little handguard she has. They are only slightly longer than your average longsword, and they have the most intricate of designs and runes along the flats of each blade. And she is an absolute whirlwind as she is just burning orcs to the ground, just chopping them left and right. She is a blender, and she's constantly on the move. She's not holding one ground. She's aggressively fighting into the heart of the swarm and cutting a huge bloody path on her way through, and she is absolutely drenched in orc blood. And you're going to land next to her, and there's going to be that moment where like you pull out your daggers and you're back to back with her. Right.
At this point, it'll be my rapier. I have...
Okay, so you've got your rapier out.
Yeah.
And you're at her back, and so the two of you are going to start doing this, like, slow rotation as she cuts deeper in. And Critter is going to start, like, biting out ankles and shit. So what are you doing as you're getting closer and closer to the heart of the swarm here?
She's a whirlwind barbarian, if any of you were curious.
Helping?
All right, so you're just going to come in with a melee weapon and start taking out things that are coming at her back.
Yeah.
Then. All right. There is... would you prefer to have the aid move or the hack and slash move here? Aid.
I think aid.
Okay, when you help or hinder someone, roll plus bond with them. So roll me 2d6, and we're going to say that you have actually met them once, so we're going to call it 2d6...
oh no!
Oh no! On a 7 to 9, okay. On a 7 to 9, they still get a modifier, but you also expose yourself to danger, retribution, or cost. All right. So they're not gonna get a bonus. Who wants to roll for rocks?
I feel like I've probably expended all of the decent dice rolls that I have for a little while.
All right, go ahead. Technically speaking, the NPC isn't supposed to get a roll, but whatever. I'm cool.
Just a 2d6?
2d6. It's gonna be 2d6 plus 3
Plus 3, okay.
instead of plus 4.
11.
All right. Now, you are going to wind up having exposed yourself to danger here. And what we're going to do is in the battle here, in the fray, you take, max damage! So
that's his favorite.
So in the villagers, like the swarm of villagers that's just crushing in around you, right? She seems to be holding her own because she trusts you to have her back. Now, you being there at her back helps her stay safe. However, in the process of doing so, you are in over your head. Like, the deeper you get, the more dense the villagers around you become. And in the slashing and the cutting and the dicing, you're going to wind up taking like a pitchfork, the flat, not the point, but just right across the top of the dome. Boom! And it's going to knock you over, not out. So you're going to be like prone, and you're going to wind up rolling away from her. So her bag is now exposed, and you are surrounded by angry mob of villagers. What do you do?
Can I interject?
Oh, Jonah's got an interjection.
Critter! Defender!
All right, roll me, it's going to be, roll me, what is it, command?
Yeah. Command is, well, it's when you work with...
Okay, so are you going to turn your attention away from the villagers you're at to help her out?
Yes.
Okay. So go ahead and roll me an attack with critter helping.
Okay, that's gonna be is it dex space because it's a volley. So that's a 6.
Oh.
Not good. Not good.
That's not good.
Okay, so what's going to happen is you are also going to take a hit.
Oh god.
So you're going to take 5. Right. So you get knocked upside the head and you roll over, right? And you're staring up into the mob. And that's when Jonah pulls up, Critter! And pulls up a shot. The wolf instinctively seems to know precisely what his master is after. And Critter is going to jump in, but Critter's going to get batted aside with a whimper. Just out of left field, just boom! Critter's out of the picture. That leaves you to defend yourself. What are you going to do?
I'm gonna go run to safety.
All right,
I'm gonna like roll over and try to scramble away to.
All right, so you're gonna so you're just gonna get the hell out of dodge.
I'm thinking of that battle in Two Towers where they're fighting over whether or not they're gonna eat the hobbits, and Merry and Pippin like scramble away. You know, yeah, that's what's going on.
All right,
I
so divide.
you should get a +1 for being so small.
Right.
I have. Well, it's just I'm neutral, so. That's not really. It's not a move, though.
All right, so you're gonna defy danger by just like trying to dodge and get the fuck out of dodge.
Yeah.
Roll me defy danger based on dex.
Yay!
All right, you will manage to escape. However, you're not helping her when you run. All right. So as she goes in, that's going to be the choice that you made that will result in Rox being infected. All right?
Well, I tried.
You did try. You did try. Like, it's not just enough to decide to do it. You also have to succeed in doing it.
Right.
Meanwhile,
yeah, no, that's fine.
Jonah, you spent your action. I'm trying to speed this up because we're running up to the end of the session. You spent your action to try and help her, to help Bryn. That means you weren't defending the villagers at the time.
Right.
That brings us to Carmine, who was actively defending the villagers the whole time and did not break from doing that. So you saved 1.5 of the villagers. Units, right? 1.5 groups of villagers, and Carmine got infected. By the time this is all said and done, you guys have been fighting the villagers, and it's just getting worse and worse and worse. You've rounded up the people that you can manage to round up, and you've gotten the hell out of dodge. What is it that you guys do to block the pursuit of the rabid villagers from following you?
The fields are on fire, right?
The crops are burning, yeah.
Yeah.
So you're just going to use those...
The lettuce crops, so they're like this tall.
She's not wrong.
Just a little fire just peeking up out through the...
So you guys want to like hide behind the fire and put the fire between you and the mob?
Yeah, that seems like a good idea.
Jonah actually knows a way through the briar patch, right?
You could go into the briar patch, and that would actually result in the villagers who are chasing you probably getting tangled up and handled by the briars, which means that the infection might not spread.
I would lead them back into the briars. Sure.
All right. So as you realize that it's starting to get too much, and Bryn reunites with Jonah, Jonah can wind up like back to back with Carmine, and you realize that you guys got to go. And so that's where Jonah kicks in, and he starts he'll fire an arrow off and start bolting on his limping ankle.
So Rox and I are both infected then, right?
You are not infected. Rox is.
You said that I was.
Yeah.
Sorry, you're not infected. You dedicated yourself solely to the villagers, and there was no chance for you to take damage or whatever, so we're just going to hand-wave it. Say you're fine. We'll say that you've been inoculated for the time being because you were drinking blood earlier, that the one-time story motion mechanics. Shut up! The point is, no, in the chaos that is going on, you specifically were trying to keep the blood splatter low, so you're okay. As you're pulling away... Go ahead, Chris.
I was just going to ask, you said that Rox was infected. Like, does she...
She's infected. She's not turning rabid. You guys will have some time to cure her. That might be your next objective. As everybody pulls out. And we're going to say, for the sake of the story, that you will manage to get Carmine with you. Not by Carmine, I mean... that, Rox will catch up behind you. Scorched, torn apart, bleeding, but smirking, actually, having enjoyed the battle. And we're going to close the session on you guys managing to escape, and finally the sounds of clashing, screaming death will escape, will fade away behind you as you're escorting Rox and the villagers. off.
Okay.
And before we close the session out, I would like to go down the XP list. How many failures did each of you guys get?
I didn't, actually.
One, okay, so you mark 1, you mark 2. Carmine, you didn't get any because you rolled like a boss the whole time. Did we learn anything new about the world?
We learned the tradition of the verbena. We learned Orcish literacy.
Yeah, we did.
Okay. Okay, so yes, you guys will get 1 XP. Everybody will get 1 XP for having learned something with the world. Did we overcome a notable monster or enemy?
I don't know.
Nah, I'm not gonna say we did.
Think so.
No.
Did we loot any memorable treasure?
No, not looting this time.
No time to loot. Had to get the hell out of Dodge.
Had to leave.
So you guys get 1 plus your plus your marks for XP. In addition to that, any bonds? Did any bonds change?
None of mine changed.
I'm still trying to teach her my religion.
Yeah, no, none of mine changed either.
We did determine that he hasn't noticed or acted upon. So you could say, I stole something from him. You could mark that off and turn that into, I don't think he knows. He didn't seem to react.
Okay.
Something along those
lines.
lines.
But he doesn't seem to know. Will that be XP?
If you get rid of the old bond and replace it with, Carmine doesn't seem to realize that I've stolen from him, how that makes you feel and what you plan on doing about it.
Tell us how that makes you feel.
I don't think that I'm prepared to for Bryn to change her feelings on it yet and turn it into something new. There's nothing because we don't know what the item was. First of all, if I knew what the item was and
it
if
hasn't come
he
up
had
yet.
so
Okay.
far done, it hasn't come up yet. So I think I'm gonna say it's still that bond.
All right, Jonah, any bonds change for you?
I was gonna say no, but I guess mine could actually change. I've got Carmine as a friend of nature, so I'll be his friend as well. I almost want to change that to Carmine knows the ways of the world, so I will follow him and protect him.
Yeah, go ahead. Change it up. Mark it XP. Carmine, any from you?
My primary, I'm still trying to teach Bryn, and the other one was that that Jonah is a good and faithful person, and I trust them. And I don't really feel like that's changed.
Okay. So with all that said, to find out what happens next, you're going to have to tune in next week, Thursdays, 1 p.m. EST. Do not touch that dial for an entire week. Just leave the whole channel live all the time. Tomorrow, Friday, 1 p.m. EST, we are doing something.
Are we?
Something.
Oh, shit.
We are doing something, so don't miss that. Thank you for watching so much. I'm EvilSqueegee. I've been your Dungeon Master today. This has been Dungeon World. We will catch you guys later. Adios, amigos.